welcome back to my reviews of my favorite Transformers cartoon ever, Beast Wars. In today's review, we're taking a look at the Season 3 premiere, Optimal Situation. In this episode, the Maximals must try and fix the damage that Megatron has caused in the previous Season 2 finale. This episode picks up from where the last one left off, with Megatron triumphant, the time storm raging, threatening to rewrite history and wipe the Maximals from existence.
No, you forget. I was a Maximal turtle form.
You know, Black Arachnia brings up a good point. If Black Arachnia never existed, how would Megatron have gotten the codes for the Ark? Well, I guess she did steal them from Megatron in the first place, and he got them from the Golden Disc. Which also makes me think, the whole reason G1 Megatron inscribed the hidden message into the Golden Disc in the first place was because they were losing the war with the Autobots. So then if there was no Autobots, there would be no war, and G1 Megatron wouldn't have created the message for Beast Wars Megatron to find. No matter which way you slice it, this seems like a major paradox to me.
Wait, a paradox? You mean one of those things that can destroy the universe?
Yes, Marty. And by the looks of it, it's happening.
Time doesn't work that way. Changing the past doesn't change the future.
Yeah, I know, Hulk, I know. Just let me put in my Back to the Future jokes, okay? So, in order to stave off the time storm and help stabilize reality, Black Arachnia and Silverbolt put Optimus Prime on life support. One interesting note is that Silverbolt plugs the life support into the Autobot faction symbol on Prime's right shoulder. However, Optimus does not usually have an Autobot logo on his right shoulder, only his left one. Personally, I like it when he has them on both shoulders. It's more symmetrical. Although, maybe that's just me being biased as a Beast Wars fangirl. It also raises the question, would this life support connection work with the other Autobots? I guess it wouldn't be compatible with Decepticons, or bots like myself who are technically not aligned with either. Gee, what kind of jerk would make a proprietary port that others can't use? Also, I doubt that every Autobot has the same size faction symbol. Do you think that this thing would fit on Bumblebee, for example? Or, for that matter, Jetfire or Omega Supreme? Anyways, back to this episode. The other Maximals entered to find the mangled face of their ancestor.
Well, that's just Prime.
Oh, what's left of them anyway? Oh.
Somewhat of a continuity error is that we can see Maximal script on the Ark console. And, you know, the Maximals obviously didn't exist when the Ark was built. So, in theory, it should have been Autobot lettering on it. But in reality, the reason is probably because the Autobot, or common Cybertronian language that we use today, wasn't created yet when this episode was. Or at least it wasn't officially used at the time. Some of the Maximal script when translated does make sense, like on and off, but others don't make any sense, like R12, 123, bad, conk, and, oh, wait, I better not say that last one, because I'm guessing that it's supposed to say... So, in order to save Optimus Prime's spark while his body is being repaired, Optimus Primal decides to take his ancestor's spark into his own body.
This spark has the Matrix with it. It's too powerful.
Now, this brings up a good point that we'll get to in just a second. First, in another epic and iconic scene in Beast Wars and the Transformers franchise as a whole, Primal opens Prime's chest, revealing the Matrix, looking very much like it did in Transformers the movie. But is this actually the Matrix? While I like the idea that as a Matrix bearer, your spark becomes a part of the Matrix itself, it has been retconned that, no, this is not the real Autobot Matrix of leadership. This is actually a decoy Matrix that sits on top of the real Matrix hidden further in Prime's chest. While this is Prime's real spark, and it contains some spiritual connection to the Matrix, it is not the real one. And upon further inspection, there are some noticeable differences between this decoy and the real thing. In reality, the animators did actually draw inspiration for Prime's spark from the Death of Optimus Prime scene in Transformers the movie, which you should be familiar with because I just reviewed that on Monday. Or at least you would be if I was able to get my review done on time. However, Mainframe's animators did not realize the significance of the Matrix at the time. So, while it's modeled after the Matrix, it is, again, not actually the Matrix, just Prime Spark in a Matrix-like container. Back outside, Megatron calls his troops. Waspinator assembles himself after being smashed to pieces by Black Arachnia's flying stasis pod boat. And Inferno somehow survived being vaporized by the Energon explosion. As the other Maximals are working on repairing Optimus Prime's body, Primal is undergoing some dramatic changes. I thought of a joke for this, but I think I'll save it for later. Meanwhile, Tarantulas' spider drones are helping put him back together too. Although, they did accidentally knock Ravage's head into the water, never to be seen again. Which is kind of a shame. I think it would have been really cool to have seen Ravage in the rest of Beast Wars. But would he ally himself with Megatron or with Tarantulas? Now that's a question. Ravage would return in additional fiction, most notably in the Beast Wars The Gathering and the Ascending comic books, after Megatron salvaged his spark and inserted it into a new Transmetal 2 affected blank protoform. But, I don't know. It's just not the same. I think I like his old body better. But again, back to this episode. I find it interesting how Quickstrike's snake arm / tail, which is really the only snake part of him, is kind of slithering along by itself when it comes across the rest of his lifeless body. It makes me wonder if Quickstrike is actually more snake than scorpion. I mean, is his spark actually in his snake arm / tail? Maybe that's why he's so protective of it.
Nobody bites my tail and gets away with it.
Maybe if Quickstrike wasn't a Fusor, he'd actually be just a snake, not a scorpion. Oh, and Rampage survives yet again, despite being blown up twice in the last episode. I guess he's indestructible after all. And finally, we have the unveiling of Primal's new body.
Big butt? How do you feel?
In a word, pride.
Wow! Hormones sure are magic, aren't they? Seriously though, I just realized that the day that this video comes out is the same day that I start hormones in real life. I can't wait! Also, this is totally what I'm going to say when somebody asks me at TFCon how my transition is going. In a word, Prime! So, Megatron and Inferno barge in on Primal's new post-op party. Wait, is that a real thing? Anyways, Megatron names Primal's new form.
Ah, I see we have a new optimal Optimus to deal with, and carrying Prime Spark as well.
Of course, referencing the fact that Primal's new toy is called Optimal Optimus. Maybe Primal Prime was too obvious? Or maybe they were saving that for a future repaint. One thing you may not know, I actually named myself after this toy. Kind of. You see, when I first joined the online Transformers fandom back in the day, some of my favorite toys were the Optimus Primal ones. Especially his Optimal Optimus toy. Probably because it was the newest. And his Beast Machines toys, well, kind of sucked. Or at least the basic one that I had at the time did. And also around that time was the new commemorative series reissues. And I really liked the G1 Ultra Magnus toy. So, for lack of creativity, I mixed and matched Optimus Primal and Ultra Magnus' names to get Ultra Primal. And that became my new screen name ever since. It was either that or Optimus Magnus, which is not bad, but I like Ultra Primal better. Either that or Apex Primal, because I also really like the God Jinrai Power Master Optimus Prime reissue that was released around the same time. But Apex Primal kind of sounds like it's doubling down on the whole monkey thing with Primal. Get it? Because Ape X? Although, who knows? Maybe I should have gone with something based off the Optimal Optimus and Primal Prime naming convention and called myself Ultimate Ultra, or something like that. Now I'm wondering, how would I look if I mingled my spark with a G1 Fembot? And what would my new name be? Arceus Ultra? Elita Ultra? Better save that for the Master Blaster episode. Actually, if you have any ideas, let me know. Which G1 Fembot would you pick for me? What would my name be after taking her spark into my body? And if you want, draw a picture of what you think my new form would look like. And who knows, maybe when I get to Master Blaster, I'll feature some of your ideas. Anyways, back to this episode. Geez, there's been a lot of tangents so far.
You wouldn't dare fire in here. It might upset history.
We'd have 4 million years to clean you off the walls, Megatron. I might risk it.
This is, of course, a reference to how the G1 bots crashed 4 million years ago, before they awoke in the 1980s.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings, Megatron.
Then they'd better stay out of my way.
Ah, more classic dialogue. Seriously, I think I like this episode better than the agenda. Or maybe it's just the perfect conclusion to that previous 3-parter.
Congratulations, Maximals. You shall have the honor of becoming the first Cybertronian fossils.
Actually, Megs, I think that honor belongs to the fossilizers. I wonder if that's where Hasbro got the idea.
Stay close, Maximal. It's time to transform and roll out.
I mean, come on. Do I really have to point out where this line comes from? It's just so cool to hear Gary Chalk say these classic lines. So, after the defenseless Black Arachnia takes a point-blank shot from Megatron, Silverbolt cradles her in his arms as they have a touching spark-to-spark moment.
Black Arachnia, oh dark poison of my heart, abide with me yet a while.
Again, I wish I could put their whole exchange in here because it's simply amazing.
You almost make me wish I was a better girl.
But I would definitely get copyright claimed if I did.
Black Arachnia.
Very touching, Silverbolt. But she's just in stasis lock.
Oh, yes,
With the Axelon unprotected, the Decepticons attempt to destroy it. And I must say, it's kind of cute seeing Tarantulas' little spider drones trying to help big old Rampage. Aww, they're kind of cute. However, despite Optimus's best efforts, their former ship rips apart and plunges into the water below. With Prime's body repaired, Primal returns his spark to its rightful place. And with it, reality is returned to normal. And so begins the third and final chapter of the Beast Wars, with the Maximals... Oh, sorry, Black Arachnia. Yes, of course I'm still including you too, even though you still identify as a Predacon for the moment. But yes, our heroes stand guard against Megatron and his Predacons, who would seek to alter history again.
We're moving in.
What a great episode of Beast Wars! Easily one of my favorites. The callbacks to G1 were amazing. I love Optimus's new body. What can I say? I like multi-changers. Nearly every scene in this episode was incredible. Unfortunately, it sharply goes down from here. While there are still plenty of great episodes to come, Season 3 really doesn't have the same level or consistency of quality that Season 2 did. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 episodes in this season that are some of the worst in the entire series. But you'll have to wait until we get to those. For now, what about you? What did you think of this episode of Beast Wars? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe, and do all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here next time for the next episode of Beast Wars Deep Metal, the introduction of Depth Charge. So I'll see you back here next time for that.